What's going on? We're gonna get started here in just a minute. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Tonight's show gonna be off the chain. Good evening and welcome to tonight's show of Wide Open. Man, tonight's show is gonna be off the chain. This is the third episode of Wide Open. I am Coach Reggie, and I look forward to these shows every single Wednesday night because I'm bringing on celebrity guests. And tonight's guest is none other than my mentor, my guy, Rocket Ismail. We're gonna talk about a lot of things tonight, including how we met with the Cowboys, Rockets, career from Notre Dame all the way through the Canadian ranks, through the NFL, and what happened, what ended his career. So I can't wait to get Rocket on tonight, man. It's going to be an exciting show. And for those of y'all that do not know, Rocket can go. Rocket can talk. So this would not be short of conversation. Again, the great Rocket Ishmael coming up after this break. All right, while we're waiting on Rocket to connect, let's talk about something really fast. I wanna take this time out. Hold on. That's Rocket sending me a text now. Give me a second. Uh, there he is.
Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you, Rock.
I was just on the on the hold on. So now I just blacked out the camera. Now I put it back on. Does it nothing on your side?
No, I can hear you, but I can't see you. Flip your camera around, turn it around, and back around at you and see what happens.
Exit camera preview. Uh how do I Man, it was just on the thing. Oh my gosh. Let's see. All right, hold on.
Got a few technical
Maybe-
difficulties here, but as
And it
y'all can
wouldn't
hear,
let
the
me
great Rocket is here. So give me a second. Give me a
camera.
second.
Anything?
Nah,
How's that?
let me see. All black screen, Rock.
Okay, I'm looking at myself on camera. Let me go back to the. All right, hold on. This camera. All right. Oh wait, let's see. Bam. How's that?
There he is. That
Yes. All right.
is the great Rocky
What
Ishmael. What's going on, buddy?
man? All is well.
Man, what is
You're not
all
seeing
this?
these. Are you seeing any of these? Like the screen has some URL information on there. You're not seeing that, are you?
No, I don't see nothing. I just see you, buddy.
All right, bet. All right, cool. As long as it's cool on your side, that's what's up. What's
Rock, what's
good?
all this,
Yeah.
man? What is this, man?
Okay, I can't see you, so I don't know when you said what's this. You talking
You
about
can't
back
see
here?
me?
Uh-uh.
Hold on. Can you see me now?
I'm just looking at myself on the screen. And maybe I need to press something.
Okay, now you're going away now.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Repress. All right. Now, what if I press this? How's that?
No, it's still a black screen.
All right. Did I come back?
Nah. Yeah, now you are. Can you
Yep.
see me?
No, I can't see you, but I mean, wait, let me see. Maybe I need to do something. I don't know what the press.
Yeah, I see
I
you
saw you.
very well.
I saw you when I couldn't see myself earlier, but
Can you see this picture?
nothing. Wait, let me see. It says exit camera preview. Is that what I need to do?
See if it'll work.
But I can see myself. All right, I'm about to press it now.
If it go out, just come right back in.
Okay, now I see you, and I see myself in the small corner on the right side of the camera. So are we good now? Oh wait,
What's going
I
on,
see.
Rock?
Okay, hold on. I have two cameras. Exit. Well, whatever. It's not. I don't know how to
But you see
do
me.
whatever. Yes.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, bro. Look at your boy. I see you trying to catch up with a brother right here.
What's
You
up
see
with
that?
all the gray hair,
Hey,
man?
you see the colonization happening on my face?
I see
All
it,
these white
man.
hairs up in this mug trying to take over.
Looking like Stan off Martin.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
It's good to
Man,
see you, man.
man, it's great to see you, brother. Hey, it's so cool to see you doing your show, and it's expected because the first time I met you, bruh, I knew this cat had greatness in it. I don't know if you remember, we were in it was like I think you came in like at a pregame meal before a game,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if it was preseason or if it was regular season, whatever was happening, but it was just like I talked to you. I don't know if it was lunch, breakfast, whatever. I might like you might have spoken. You gave me like a 2-3 minute synopsis of how you got there, and I was like, man, this dude is gonna be something special. And now it's manifesting, son. I knew it.
Let me tell you, Rock, man, when I first got to Cowboys, man, remember I came in the locker room down there in Wichita. When I came in late, remember I came in late. Y'all
Uh-huh.
played Oakland Raiders, and I caught the bus back with y'all the following day to Wichita Falls, and we get down to training camp, and the next day was off, of course, and then after that we got practice. And I go in the locker room, and they put my locker right next to yours, and I was like, oh wow, like I'm in here with Rocket Ismail and Joey Galloway and Emmitt Smith over there, but they put me right next to you, man. And to me, that was football heaven because let's face it, bro. Let's face it, man. Everybody knows
I
Rocket
love it.
Ismail. Everybody knows Rocket Ismail, man. And so I'm sitting there like, this has got to be the coolest thing in the world to have a cowboy star on my head next to Rocket. And you were drinking those nasty, the energy, the milk tasting things. Remember those things we had all the time?
Yeah, bruh. It was an electrolyte mix that
Yeah.
was hospital. It was hospital grade, so it absorbed in your system faster. And I remember you. I don't know if you were cramping up or if you didn't feel something. I was like, hey man, drink these.
All I remember, man, is being a young guy, 25 years old, and the great Rocket Ishmael said, drink this. I didn't question you. I didn't question you. I just drank it because Rocket Ishmael said drink it.
Hey,
That was the
and you,
nastiest stuff in the world, man. And you had me drinking it every day.
bruh, I knew it because you couldn't. I knew you were like when you have dynamic muscle fibers and you have a lot of stress on you because it's like you're thinking about making a team. You just got back doing your thing in Arena League. You played a lot longer. You didn't have the kind of breaks that we had, so forth and so on. It's like your body, even if you're not physically doing something, your body is exerting and using up a lot of his resources. And I was like, at a minimum, bro, you got to at least replenish on the electrolyte so that the doggone electronic system in this amazing body of ours could work properly. So yeah, bro, that's. I was just trying to make sure you wouldn't short circuit.
Hey, look, man, you said drink it out. Look, so when I came in, so remember you had just came off ACL injury,
Yep,
and then Joy wasn't practicing. So they brought me in for a camp body, and it was me, Damon
yep.
Hodge, Chris Brazel, Wayne McGarity, a couple more guys,
Tucker.
Jason Tucker. And I remember coming in, man. Let me tell you guys how it works. So when you come in late the way I came in, they brought me in for a camp body, not to get any real reps because Rocket and Joy, y'all practice once a day. So
Mm-hmm.
remember? So I
Yep.
remember the receivers, they were all trying to help me learn the plays because they were tired. And they wanted somebody to come in and get some reps. Well, when I came in, from day one, I was balling. They went from helping me all the time to not even talking to me because they saw I could ball, man. You don't remember
Oh, you
that?
talking about the young cats?
Yeah, all the receivers. They went from helping me every day to not even talking to me
Ah,
because I came in balling, man. And I remember you kept on just keep going, young brother. Keep going. You impressing. You impressing everybody, young brother. Keep on going. Your encouragement, man. Wes Chandler had yet to start cussing me out yet. So, the receiver coach, he cussed everybody out. He hadn't
yep.
got to me yet. And but I came in making plays, man, and you was one of my biggest supporters, man. And I just, brother, I thank you, man, because it's only two positive guys I've never seen upset, and that was you and Anthony Lucas. I've never seen you
Hey,
guys get
Lou.
mad. You guys were always positive, man. And a guy like you, man, was special in my life, especially when I came in being cut 6 times prior to coming, man. You was that guy that I needed, man. I just want to tell you, I thank you, man. I appreciate you. All these years, you've been real with me. We stayed in contact. A lot of guys, they are too big time to stay in contact with guys like myself. And so you stayed in contact with me. I stayed in contact with you, man. I just want to say thank you, brother. Thank you.
Man, man, Reggie, absolute pleasure. And I want to say, by that time in my life, I think I was like 31, 32, something like that. And I remember one of the things that I figured out about life was that at a minimum, it's about overcoming. And whenever I would see or meet people who tap into that, and no matter what the level of adversity or the level of challenge or the level of struggle or how many times they've been knocked down, they don't give up and they keep fighting and they stay with it. That impresses me, and it made me, man. I don't know if you know this, but when you were telling me your story, a couple of times I had to look away because I started tearing up. And it was like, I was just like, man, this dude is special. And so it's like to be, you're like a living confirmation of what I internally in my heart was identifying as, okay, this is the major chunk of life. This is what it's about overcoming. And so it's one thing to think about that in your own heart, but then to actually see it embodied outside of you. And now here comes Reggie Swinton, and here comes somebody else. It's like, man, I got to acknowledge that, man, and try as best I can. One thing I know that in my makeup that I consistently have confirmed from people outside of me is that when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, it's going to encourage people. And so when I meet people like you, and that's what I felt at the table that day, it's like, man, you got to encourage these brothers, man, because this can be a pivotal point where I don't want if I don't want somebody who all their life is overcoming struggle after challenge after obstacle and overcomes, and then they meet me and I know I'm supposed to add something to them and I don't do what I'm supposed to do, and then it makes their life harder than it has to be, then I don't want that to happen. So it was like it's meeting you. It was such a it was such a blessing and a confirmation, and it just made me thankful, and I wanted to share that. So man, this is great, and I'm thankful you stay with it, brother, because we need people like you in this earth, man. Everybody needs people like you. People need to know your story. People need to know about you, because you have more in common with humanity, no matter if they're athlete or not. You have more in common with humanity than the people who may have had, not that their life was easy, but they may not have had as many challenges. So when people hear their testimony, they look at them like, oh, I don't have anything in common with them. But when they hear you, man, when you write your book and stuff, it's gonna be fire, because when people see the level of challenge, and then what impressed me more, what just on top of that, when you were just starting to tell me about the family dynamics and man, the stuff that you had to go through to travel to see your children, your son, and man, all I was just like, whoa, this boy got it. So I salute that, bruh. That is an honorable thing, and more people will resonate with what you're saying. And then, man, I'm telling you, you won't even meet them on this side of heaven, but they will be like, they will reach their full potential because they heard about and read about what Reggie Swinton did and what Reggie Swinton overcame and how Reggie Swinton persevered. And they will be, man, you will affect more people than the, I know they got the YouTube and the social media influencers and all that stuff. You'll affect more people from your story than these people who have multiplied millions of followers in the social media world. So man, again, salute to you, brother. And I'm just thankful to be on your show, man.
Man, thank you, man. Hold on 1 second while I pay some bills right quick, Rock.
Okay.
Uh, Tonight's show is brought to you by the True Sauce. By the True Sauce, you can pick up your True Sauce in Edwards Food Giant, Food Values, Drug Emporium, and Uncle T's, and many more stores. My man Keith is a black man doing his thing, and he has the True Sauce. I had my serving of it yesterday, and I can tell y'all right now, it is real sauce. Tastes really really well, and I'll be using the True Sauce from now on, especially supporting the black man. That's my man Keith Tucker. His sauce is in many stores here in Little Rock, so go pick up your True Sauce tomorrow. Before we move on back to the great Rocket Ismail, let's go and show y'all what the Rocket Ismail did back in his play day.
Hey yo, I heard your single, you better make a whole new song. If they said that shit is hot, then they told you wrong. Clown niggas, you ain't got a chance at all. Big L Codeon to advance for y'all. I make moves with boss all across the world, so don't be upset if I toss your girl. I got cheddar to blow, pockets never get low. Bitches sweat me wherever I go. I cruise in a GS Lex, Cartier specs, Nautica sweats with the fresh Gore-Tex. Shoes with baguettes, swinging like the Mets, throwing the dice and taking all side bets. Never bummy, sit bummy, get money. When I hit honey, she felt the dick in her tummy. On the lead low, I see dope from here to Rio. Flamboyant records, C to the EO.
Look at that, man. Unbelievable.
People wonder why.
Yeah.
Rock, when you look at that, man, when you look at that, what comes to your mind, man?
Man, it's so much. It Well, okay, so when I was younger, I would just be impressed with just how fast I was or just how athletic and everything I was. But now that I'm older, what comes to my mind is the amount of people that it took to be in the right position and to be willing to use their gift, their talent, their resources so that I could be in position to be able to accomplish those things. And when I say the amount of people, like the fact that when my father died when I was 10 years old, and my mother now is thrust into this situation where the three boys that were there, my brothers and I, it was like she had to be gone all the time because now she had to up her workload. And we're 10, 9, and 6. And it's like we're no longer the discipline that my father. Now we're wandering, kind of going out in the streets and trying to just discover our neighborhood outside of our backyard. And that that posed some risk. And then it was like my 77-year-old grandmother, like I didn't understand how old 77 really was back then, but my 77-year-old grandmother calls my mother and say, hey, send the boys to live with me and don't worry about nothing. We'll put them in the schools. And then we get into Wilkes-Barre, and it's like the entire community like embraced us. We had such a grace on our lives, and people were so willing to just, I mean, before there was any type of indication that
Rocket,
we
hold
could.
on, Rocket, hold on, Rocket, hold on, look at here. You see the screen? What did it say?
Wait, hold up.
Charmaine.
What am I looking?
Charmaine's watching.
Yo, Charmaine, what up, sis? Is she there?
No,
I can't.
she watching on YouTube. So let me give y'all the backstory. So Charmaine is my cousin. Charmaine, formerly Charmaine Swinton. She got married. Now she's Charmaine Watkins. She's in Oklahoma, and she went to Notre Dame with Rocket. And so when I went to the Cowboys, she was super excited about me coming to play on the same team with her classmate, schoolmate at Notre Dame. So Charmaine says, hey, y'all.
What's happening, sis? Yes. I love it.
Well, go ahead with your story, Rocket.
So we got all types of grace. We get to the Wilkes-Barre area, and all of a sudden, coaches, parents, people in the community, man, we just started being built up. My brothers and I started being built up and supported. And it was like, before I knew it, we're on the national stage and on the track to accomplish what I thought I wanted to accomplish when I was the first time I saw football, I was like 5 years old. And when I saw it, I was like, something in me was like, oh man, I want to do that. And then it was like everybody and every situation that was necessary and every institution that I had to be a part of that was necessary to make that happen started being added to me and added to my brothers and I. So when I see that, and I know I answered it in a long way, but when I see those highlights, brother, and see all of the great feats and things of that nature, I have to, like, that's what makes me, like, even the return on there where it showed it was like my second return against the University of Michigan, and the guy that was leading me into the end zone, and it cut off right before it, but we both looked. His name is Rodney Culver, and he died in an airplane crash like in 1994, I think it was 93, 94. And it was just like, I look at him and it's like, man, it's just like so many people aren't even here anymore and that were instrumental in my being able to accomplish that. So, man, I'm extremely thankful. I'm extremely humbled. I'm extremely grateful that everything that was necessary in order for those 10-second return here, 5-second return here, couple of highlights here were able to happen, man. And it reminds me that I have to do my part, because there are people who are going to come across my path who are going to do greater things. And it is going to be very important that I do my part so that the greater things that they have to do can get accomplished, and that they'll be able to shine their light while they're here in this earth.
Good deal, man. That's a great story, man, and I really enjoyed that also. But the thing I want to get into, Rocket, man, let's talk about the NFL days because I want people to really understand the business part of it. And Fred says, "Glad to see you, Rocket," but the dog got to get back to work. Stay up, my man. Nice, Reggie Swinton, to bring on a dog out. Fred, appreciate you, man. Let's talk about your career, man, because what you did. Let me see if I can get this video to work first before.
Okay.
I got a video of you with the Cowboys, but it's for some reason it's not playing. Let me see if I can get it in here right quick. Nah, for some reason your Cowboys highlight won't play, and
Is it? Do I need to do something?
no, I got it up. It's just not playing for some reason. I had the Cowboys highlight already, man. But yeah. So a lot of people know you because you started off at Notre Dame. Then you were drafted actually in the fourth round by Oakland, but you chose to go play in Canada because you got a big contract in Canada. What made you go to Canada instead of going to the league? Because you would have been the first round. You would have been the first pick of the draft by the Cowboys.
So
but you chose to
what?
go to Canada instead. Why is that?
So what happened was once I declared that I was going to come out, and the only reason I declared that was going to come out was because after our bowl game that year, we played Colorado. We ended up losing 10-9, and when I got back to the house, national news broke, and my teammate Chris Zorich, he came home, found his mother had died. He found her body in the house. And it was like that morning I woke up, and it was like a realization when I heard about it, because it was all over the sports news, and then the whole Notre Dame network was calling everybody and like, hey man, we got to lift Chris up in prayer. And I just remember a feeling inside of me, like ever since my father died, I always would hear the echo of his voice in my mind, and my brain would like, hey man, when I'm not here, you're the man of the house. Even though, it's something to tell your little son and everything. And I kept hearing that. And like most of us, when we're younger, man, we want to hook our mothers up. We want, man, when I grow, I'm going to buy my mother a house. I'm going to buy my mother this. I'm going to buy my mother that. Just make her life, bless her life. And it was like when I got the news, I felt like, man, time is short. My mother might, I don't know how long my mother's going to be here, and I want to make sure that I can do for her what is something that I've dreamed about, but hopefully while she's still here, I can do that. So I declared I'm going early. Back then, once you declared you're going early, there was a rule that the NFL implemented, and the rule was because of what John Elway did when he was coming out at the time of the draft. He was going to be the number one pick, but he didn't want to go to the Baltimore Colts. So he decided he was going to play baseball. So he goes to play baseball while he's holding out, and the Colts already picked them. So they had to work out some deal where they get him to go to Denver. Well, when they started talking to me, they were like, hey, you got to sign a contract prior to the draft because more than likely you're going to be the first pick. And I'm sure other guys that were potential first picks of the draft at that time, they had to do the same thing. So we negotiate the deal, and it's a 5-year deal. The total deal is $1.5 million. The signing bonus is like $400,000, and there were 5 teams that I spoke with: the Cowboys, the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots, the Atlanta Falcons, and maybe Cincinnati or whoever else was not really doing that well that year. Those teams had the first pick potentially because the season was still going on. And all of a sudden, I'm in my dorm room. I'm like going to class. I'm on the phone in between classes, getting the updates from my agent at the time and my attorney. Man, I go to class. I come back. my attorney calls me. He's like, "Hey man, we got a call from these guys out of Los Angeles, and they want to talk to you about potentially going to Canada." And I was like, "Canada?" I was like, "The CFL." I remember watching some CFL games when I was younger back in the day, and it's funny. It was like Canada was where all the black quarterbacks went back in the day. So it was like, I'm like, oh, they got all the black quarterbacks up there. So that's what I remembered. Well, long story short, the guy out of Los Angeles was Bruce McNall. He partnered with John Candy and Wayne Gretzky. They bought the Toronto Argonauts. Now, the reason why they brought the Toronto Argonauts was because they, when you hang around your high 100 millionaire and billionaire friends, they all talk about, what they plan on doing to grow whatever their wealth is in the future. And the NFL was talking about expanding internationally. And he heard that Toronto would be a great market, and the NFL in about 4 years, 5 years, something like that would expand. So we get on the phone with him, and he says, "Hey, I'll give you $4 million as a one every year, $4 million a year for your contract. You whatever the maximum salary that rookie in the CFL can make, you'll also get that from the team, and any of my ventures that I'm in, whenever it comes across the table and there's something that's going to make money, I'll include you in that." And he told me about the NFL expansion deal. He said, "I'll give you 10% ownership of the Toronto Argonauts." And I think they bought the team for like $3 million. So he said, when we sell a team, or if we sell a team, or even expand, then you'll have that 10%, that 10% ownership will carry over, and you'll just get 10% of whatever is more than 3 million after we get our money back from selling the team. Like, he was making it real sweet, throwing in all these things. And I was like, yo, this is wild. So the day before the draft, after negotiating and getting all the little things together, we decide to make the announcement. And I remember Ralph Wiley called me up, and he was telling me, he was like, "Hey man, if you had to go to a team, what team would you want to go to?" And we started just talking about teams and how they like, and like, knowing what I know now, I would have went to the team with the best quarterback. But it was like, my decision making at that time was like, I want to try to play where there's warm weather and where their offense is suited to a speed guy. And mind you, I was a garbage receiver. Knowing what I know now, I was so terrible as a receiver just because we didn't do receiving it wasn't a main focus when I was at Notre Dame. It was more run oriented. And man, for the heck, I think my first 2 years I was in 3-point stance when why I looking like Fred Biletnikoff, right?
And so, you played for and you also played for the great Lou Holtz, might I add.
Yeah, at Notre Dame. That's right.
He was at Arkansas at first.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So literally all of the mindset was, okay, let's try the Raiders. They're in Los Angeles. They won a Super Bowl not too long ago there. But
now Los Angeles, they drafted you in the 4th round and had your rights, correct?
They drafted me because we called them and told them, hey, we're going to the CFL, and when we come back, Rocket would like to play for you guys. Like, I was a Steelers fan at the time. I just wanted to go to Los Angeles just because of their loving the speed receivers, and it was a nice warm environment. That was
Tim
it.
Brown
That's all I made my decision.
Tim Brown already there?
Tim had just finished his rookie year. That matter of fact, I'm sorry. So this was 88. Yeah, no, 89, 9. Yeah, Tim was about maybe going in his 3rd year, the 2nd or 3rd year when I was in Canada. But the draft comes on after we make the phone call, and then in the 4th round with the 100th pick, Al Davis picks me, and I ended up going to Los Angeles after playing 2 years in the CFL. So that's like the Cliff Notes version of it.
Let's kind of go back a little bit because I read something that shocked me today, Rocket. My wife and I had brunch at IHOP today, and I'm going
Mhm.
through Wikipedia reading up on it because there's things I don't know about you, and I read while using the CFL that not the Rocket I know, but the Rocket that was back in Canada. You stumped somebody, man.
Oh, bruh,
You got
check
into a
this
fight,
out.
Rocket. You got into a fight, man.
So this is my second year, and the teams that we're playing against, they started like taking cheap shots at me. And in one game, I was already down. This guy hit me, ended up knocking me loopy. I had to be taken to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. So it was like a team mom, and mind you, the majority of the black population in Canada comes from the Caribbean. So this woman was adamant about, hey, I need to get something to you that's going to make you stronger, man. So she reached out through like Roberto Alomar, and then who was a star baseball player with the Toronto Blue Jays,
Mm-hmm.
and then he reached out to man, that forget the guy's name, but somehow they got in touch with me, and they were like, "Hey, man, you need to meet this woman. She's gonna hook you up. She feel like she can give you something to make you stronger." Long story short, comes to my house, man. She looked um like a big mama, but from the South, from the Caribbean, like literally, man, with the accent, the whole nine. Man, she goes out, buys these ingredients, and this is the day before the game. She buys these ingredients, mixes it all together, and gives it to me as a drink. And she says, "Drink it now." And then I think I was supposed to drink some in the morning when I woke up, and then some at pregame. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It tastes good. I'm drinking it. Man, whatever that was, you know how it wasn't fire water, but it like put like a whole bunch of energy in me. Fast forward, we're playing this team, a fight breaks out, and it spills over the onto the like the sideline. So as they're all on the sideline, whatever, man, something in me just snapped. And it was just like I felt like this burst of aggression that I'd never felt before. Man, this cat was on the ground. Now, mind you, he's on the ground, and you know how you do your pregame research on the opponent, and certain people have certain things that is a strength and certain things that are weaknesses. Man, I find out that this cat is allergic to bees. So it just so happened that he's on the ground when this aggressive nature comes out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bee right next to his head. So as I jump up to actually save the day and stomp this bee out, the camera angle doesn't pick the bee up because it's too small.
Right.
And that dude's head happens to be in the vicinity. So I'm gonna tell you what was a blessing. I was able to get the B, even though nationally they weren't able to get that on camera because the technology isn't like it is today from the cameras, and the guy's life was saved. He might have been bruised up a little bit, but his life was saved.
So
And he didn't have to get that EpiPen stick.
so
And
so so
check this out.
that,
Check this out. So here's the saving. This is how you know you're in a spot where you have a grace that even in your mess ups, that you still have a grace that will allow for a uh a smooth transition even through the rough parts of the storm, even if they're self-inflicted. Man, that night we're we're walking, and Toronto's like a major city. People
I've been over there.
everywhere. I mean, okay, so man, we're walking through the city. I remember I was walking with David Williams, he's a Hall of Fame receiver in college, Hall of Fame receiver at CFL. and we're walking, and he's just like, bruh, what got into you? I don't even recognize what happened today. It's even hard for me to acknowledge it. I think I'm living in a dream. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know what happened. We're walking past on the street. There was this really popular street, and they had a booth, and the booth was connected to Canada's one of their major television stations, and people could get in, put a loonie in, which was like, I think it was like a silver, not a silver dollar, like a gold plated dollar, put a coin, put that in, and then they would give you, I don't know, 3 minutes to 4 minutes, whatever, to speak your mind. And after talking with Dave, I felt so bad. I get into the booth and I just apologize to like the whole country, the whole city, the whole team, the guy that I saved his life from being stung by a bee, and just got bloated. I apologize to everybody. And I was like, man, I'll never do it again. So the next day, of course, it's national news of what happened. They're like, Rocket is going off the rails. This cat is, what is happening? However, I come into the facility and the public relations guy, man, forgive me, I forget his name. He comes running down. He's like, Rocket, I love you. I love you. I'm like, what? He's like, he said, you are a genius. And he shows me all the papers, but then shows me whatever was the leading story on the news, and coupled with what happened on the field, they showed my apology right there, and it neutralized it. And it was like, then I got the benefit of the doubt. You know, when the younger you are, most of the time you get the benefit of the doubt. And so because I think I was 22 at the time, because this was my second year, and I had the television, I did the apology, not, it was impromptu. It wasn't something that they had to like, okay, say this thing and have this press conference. It knocked all of that out. And the only thing that happened was, so the CFL would save face, they found a organization and or some type of charity, and I think, I don't know, I might have gave $10,000, $20,000, whatever, maybe my salary to the organization, and it was over. But I still say, I don't know what was in that drink that I was given, but that's where it started.
So the B story is what you're going with.
The bit, bruh, I'm telling you, these are subjective facts. Trust me.
What is that? What is that Martin movie where he was
Yeah.
The B was thinking that, man. What's the movie? I can't think of it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when
National Security.
Bruh, I don't remember National Security. I remember when he was boxing Tommy Hearn. And he was on the wall. His face was all big.
Well, listen, man. Let's move along here. Right,
okay.
Because as my man Eric Baker, he just put in the notes as I read today that you're still, to this day, 2022, you're still salty with Ty Detmer winning the Heisman Trophy. Over you.
Yo.
I played with Ty Detmer, right? I played with Ty Detmer.
Wait, in Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit.
Yo.
He was
the last time I saw Ty,
Joey Harrington, Mike McMahon, and Ty Detmer.
Man, he was a good journeyman quarterback, bro.
But
I tell you what,
Rocket Ismail.
Oh, well, I understand that, but what really propelled him was, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but Miami, like how Alabama is now, that's how Miami was back in my era. And that Miami came to BYU, and Ty Detmer led the Cougars to like just amazing victory. And it was like in the national football awareness, it was like that momentum just stayed with them throughout. And like I had just, not that I had a regular season, but I just do what I was normally doing. And my moment where it was just like, yo, this dude is for real, didn't come until the bowl game. And after the bowl game was after they already voted for the Heisman. So if the bowl game would have been before the voting, if they would have waited to the end of the season, I think I would have had a legitimate chance.
Well, I think everybody back then thought you should have won it, man, and you definitely had a great college career and a good pro career as well.
Bruh, let me tell you something. Don't Before we go on, man. One to this day, and this is legitimately, it happens all the time. I just did a corporate speaking event, and as they were reading the bio that they put together beforehand, I had to correct them. Like, hey, no, I didn't win the Heisman. I came in second, and our national interviews on the radio, sometimes live television feeds with the major sports networks. And man, if they're not like on their P's and Q's, they just assume that I won it. And sometimes they'll say it while we're on air. And it's like, I don't want to take this cat's credibility away because, he's Mr. Sports Center or he's Mr. Fox Sports News or whatever. And it's like, I just have to just sit there and bite my tongue. But man, to this day, man, there's people who in the sports arena still think I won it.
Well, you definitely won it in our eyes, man. I'm showing pictures now of you with Toronto and you with Oakland, and then people don't really remember, but you went to Carolina as well.
Man, Carolina, bruh, check this out. Carolina was when I first realized that all the coaching in the NFL was not equal. And I say that because I was still at Carolina. Like, remember I told you, I didn't come from a strong receiving background. I was more of just get the ball in his hands type of guy. And so when I was at Carolina, I realized after my second year, after my third year, sorry, we got Gil Haskell, who was a receivers coach with Carolina, or quarterbacks coach, one of those, and then he became our offensive coordinator. We're at practice one day and doing like a mini camp, and he goes, Ray Caruth is running the route, and Ray Caruth was from Colorado, big time receiver. And when Ray ran his route, he's like, "That's it, 6-2, 6-2." And I was like, 6-2. So I go up to him. I was like, "Coach, what are you talking about, 6-2?" He's like, 6 strides, two steps to get out. And like that little interaction, like something clicked in my brain, and I was like, "Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me he come from a system where it was off the Bill Walsh coaching tree, and it just was like, oh, wait a minute, they always have a dominant receiver. Like no team that has a Bill Walsh coaching tree doesn't have some dominant receivers, and they're always consistent, and they count every step on every route." Man, once I implemented that little nuance to my route running, bruh, my junk is, and it took off when my physical age was going like this, and it just helped me to neutralize that and actually set me up so that I could get the contract to come and play with Dallas for the last 3 years of my career.
Well, man, I remember, and I'm gonna take you back, and it could be a sore spot for you, man, but I remember this day like it was yesterday, Rocket. We was at the Astrodome or at the Dome in San Antonio in training camp, and you ran a slant route, and that wind tried to avoid you, and he actually hit the side of your helmet, right? And I think it cracked the vertebrae in your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you going down, and we all was concerned because it was a pretty serious injury. And I remember them coming and saying that Rocky's done for the year, and possibly your career, in which that was your last pattern you ran.
Yep.
And I remember saying, man, this is football is rough. It's It's real rough, and your career can end at any given moment. And I sat there and I watched your career end. That could have been any one
Bro,
of us, man. But the thing about it that really like struck a nerve with me is how when you came back around the team, you came in the locker room, you had your white neck brace on, and
mm,
I've never seen somebody be so positive after
mm,
they done broke their neck. Like you didn't have no ill will towards that. You wasn't upset, or at least we didn't see you upset. You kept
mm.
positive attitude, kept coming to treatment. And I think I heard now, maybe I'm wrong, but weren't you due for like $1 million bonus like shortly after that?
No, check this out. That year, I was due for a $4 million bonus just by being the starter. On it was like one of those easy bonuses, like,
Yeah.
hey, if you're starting as you're going into your going into your fourth year, if you're starting, then we'll get this, you'll get a $4 million bonus added on to whatever.
Was that week
And
one? So week one starter?
yep.
So you got hurt literally a week or maybe 2 weeks before you were due to get $4 million.
Yes,
And let me tell
man.
y'all how the business works. See, Jerry Jones was all concerned and everybody was all concerned. But when Rocket got hurt at that point, that saved Jerry Jones $4 million. Jerry didn't care
Yo,
how bad Rocket was hurt. Jerry could still gave Rocket that money. But as we always tell people, it's a business. And until they understand it's a business, it ain't always fair to us. That's why you see people holding out and getting their money.
oh man, let me tell you something. One of the things that I realized, and this is, it's not a blanket statement across the board, but most successful, highly um acclaimed business people, man, they know where every dollar goes, and if you earn it, cool. And not that it wasn't, so watch this. Because I got hurt in training camp, he could have kept my base salary. My base salary was like $3 million that year. He could have kept my base salary from being paid as well. It could have been like, hey man, okay, you just go on IR and you do the disability. You do your disability thing, and then that's that. Man, he came in and he said, hey, we're still going to pay your salary. And I was just thankful for that, man, because it was like, I didn't even think in my mind ending. I'm on such a high, and this was crazy. That training, Alamo Dome, that's where it was, at the Alamo
Alamo
Dome.
Dome.
That training camp, bruh, it was the first time I could feel a level of grace that compelled others to speak blessing to you. And I mean it this way. And mind you, I think I was 33 at the time, which, in football world, that's like, you may as well be 63.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember everyone coming up to me and they were just like, man, this is the year, you're going to be amazing. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, just because of the level of the freedom I felt. And it was like, I felt like it was a harvest, and then bam. And check this out, Reggie. I share this with you. I haven't shared this publicly with anybody outside of my family. Man, one of the things that I'm hyper aware of, especially when you're in a situation where your emotions are out of balance. So you can be in an extreme emotional position. So you could be extremely angry, extremely sad. You can be extremely driven. Like, it's never good to be in the extremes of any emotional disposition, because it keeps you from being sober minded. And in those extremes, you can declare things out of your mouth that you don't even realize makes you an unwitting participant in your own demise. So about 5 years, 6 years later, and I'm still meditating, because I've learned, I'm not, if anybody ever tells you, hey man, don't ask God questions, he knows what he's doing, just trust him. I like, no, my life, the life pattern that I have says, you can ask God anything, and when you're ready, he'll give you the answer. So I get the answer in this way. I have a remembrance of I'm in Carolina, and I'm a free agent, and all these teams are calling me. And I remember the Washington Redskins was like, hey man, we're gonna make you the highest paid receiver in football, all these things, these other San Francisco called, whatever. And I was perfectly content to stay in Carolina and finish out my career there. I was gonna give them the hometown discount, the whole nine. Man, uh we get into further into the offseason, the Cowboys call me. And Jerry Jones is like, hey, Rocket, Jerry Jones here. We really would love to have you be a Cowboy, want to be a part of this great organization, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't know this, but like the fact that I'm wearing this Cowboys hat right now is a miracle, because I grew up a Steelers fan, and the only team that I like hated with a passion was the Dallas Cowboys. And it was so bad that even when we played them, I had that hate just festering in my heart. Like I was a hater. Like I was the poster boy for being a hater. Man, he called me. I'm like, oh, ain't no way I'm going to the Cowboys. Man, my father-in-law at the time, he since passed away, but my father-in-law at the time called me, and he's a pastor out in Los Angeles. And he said, hey, son, how's everything going, whatever. So I'm just catching him up on everything. And I tell him about my conversation with Mr. Jones, and it's like he got quiet, but it was like I could almost hear him thinking on the phone while he's being quiet. And all he said, he's like, son, whenever you do your best to close a door that you know isn't going to hurt you, and it doesn't close, you have to at least go through the door to see what's on the other side. And I knew that meant I had to take the trip down to Dallas. And I was so mad and I was so angry. And I remember like I felt an anxiousness, a fear, an anger, and out of my mouth, I remember I was like, I hate football. I don't want to play. He said, I'm just going to play for 3 years. That's what I said. I said, I hate football. I said, I'm just going to play for 3 years, and that's it. Now, watch this. In the world that we live in, the world is adversarial to all of us being able to shine. Everybody you know, everybody watching this video, everybody that we come in contact with, their overarching goal and purpose of their life is to shine their light, because when they shine their light, they're shining a piece of God in the earth. So literally, the world is always looking for permission to kill, steal, and destroy your ability to shine. And whenever you make declarations that limit you and your potential, then it moves in with the permission from you that you don't even realize you gave, so that it can keep you from shining. And everything that happened to me that day in the Alamo Dome was a direct result of the declarations that came out of my mouth. And check this out. It was a harvest year. Just speaking from financial terms, speaking from how just I picked up the offense like that, speaking how my body felt, everything that was blessing and bounty and abundance was ready to just be released. And then an agreement that I unwittingly made with a declaration out of my mouth 4 years prior, here comes the world and its system. And they're like, yeah, bruh, we about to make this thing happen so that you don't get that abundant harvest that you're called to get. And boom, next thing you know, I'm on the ground and I'm full body paralyzed. And it's the last time I ever did anything football related. And just check this out. After that, my phone is, Parcells comes in, he releases me, And he brought me into the office. I had a great conversation with him. Wasn't like anything savage, but he was like, "Hey man, I'll keep you on the idea back burner wise, but I'm gonna I want to move with these healthy guys that I know would have you." Teams were still calling me, and it was like, even as they were calling me, I had such fear from what happened to me. And the doctors always have to cover their side. So they're like, "Hey man, you have a very narrow spine to begin with." I'm not a big dude, I'm a small dude. So they're like, "You have a very narrow spine to begin with. And anything that would replicate or any hit or whatever, even if you feel great, man, it could, instead of you getting up and walking away after about being on the ground for about 10 minutes or so," he said, "No, you could be a quadriplegic if it happens this way." And so it's like, a part of me is I'm conflicted. It's like a part of me wants to finish strong. I want to go to these teams, but then there's a part of me that is like, has fear on the inside, and it's such a level that I didn't encounter prior, and I didn't have the tools or the wherewithal to combat the fear. So the only thing I need to do was to keep working out. But I was like, yeah, it's good to work out and everything. And I remember we even worked out a couple of times over at the middle school
I
there.
was about to
And
tell
with
you, I was about to bring that
Quincy,
up. Me, you, and
but
Quincy and Zuriel Smith,
yes,
because we all
but
trying to make a comeback.
I still had fear. So I said all that to say, to anybody out there, no matter how emotionally distraught circumstances are, or the truth of your situation may seem, never speak ill or never speak limit to what your potential is in your life, because you don't want to be like I was. I made the mistake and I became an unwitting participant to my own demise. Now, what I said, what you talked about with Mr. Jones, man, he didn't have to, because of the timing and everything. He didn't have to pay me my regular season salary, but he did anyway. I didn't get the bonus, but hey, man, I was still thankful that I got something to put food on the table. So, don't speak limit to your life, man. Don't speak anything but blessing. And even if you don't know what to speak, don't say anything at all. And what is necessary for you to speak, it'll come eventually.
Guys, right now, I am broadcasting live from Cafe Havana down here on 12th in Rodney Perham. It's owned by my man Jimmy Morris. He a cute dog, but I still give him some love. As y'all can see all these cigars behind me, he's allowed me to broadcast live out of his cigar lounge down here on 12th and Rodney Perham. Come down here and pick you out some cigars. I get mine from here as well. So you got a variety that you can pick from. So come down here to 12th and Rodney Perham to Jimmy Moore's Cafe Havana and pick up your own cigar. Also brought to you by the Truth Sauce, owned by my man Keith Tucker. I've been using this now for about 2 weeks, and it's all the sauce I use now on all of the food I cook. So again, the Truth Sauce can be picked up in various stores around here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So these are two black brothers who are doing well for themselves. So let's support our own Jimmy Morris and Keith Tucker. Rocket, we're gonna wind down here in just a second. Let's talk about. I'm gonna put these pictures up, man, and you tell me what this picture means to you.
Okay. Yo, that's wifey, son. Where we at? I don't know. Where you get those pictures from?
Oh man, listen, Rocket. Hey, I got a show to do, baby. I gotta do my homework.
Bro, you on a high level, Reggie. What the what? Man, I gotta screenshot this. Hold on a second. Matter of fact, send me a copy. Yep, man. I don't know where we are, but oh, you know what? If I think, or if I remember correctly, this was the Hall of Fame banquet for the Orange Bowl back in the early 2000s. And I think, yeah, because she got the summer thing, I got my blue. Yeah, I think this was we were at a banquet for the Orange Bowl, and they were inducting me into their Hall of Fame.
Charmaine says, "Praise the Lord, Rocket. You have always been an inspiration to me from our very first conversation." So Charmaine's still tuned in. That's my first cousin.
Amen.
Love that girl to pieces, man.
Love
She
you,
has been the
sis.
rock in my life for a long time.
Yes,
We don't see each other
yes,
much, man, but I love her like I see her every single day, man. This picture right here,
yes.
Rock.
Ah, you see him? That my children. We got Imani, Judah in the middle. Judah is 6'2" now, and Kiana. Those and my oldest son. I don't know if I'm seeing the full picture now. I don't know if he's in there, but it's one
No,
more
he's on the
child.
he's to the right. You can see the corner of his face to the right.
Oh, okay, okay.
To your right,
Well,
our left.
Rock isn't man. Yo, my man is his music is fire. He's been producing now and making. He's about to probably in the next year. Y'all gonna hear some stuff coming out of him. My daughter Imani, she's in the fursuit community making if you ever watch what's the show called Masked Singer and all
Yeah.
those elaborate costumes and stuff, my daughter makes those. People order them from her. She makes them right there in the room. My youngest son Judah, he's on his gap year right now, and he just graduated from high school last year. He's out there in the workforce. He's teaching himself how to play bass. He's an amazing artist now. He's doing these big canvas art and murals and stuff. And he just got a job at Sprouts, so we get that 15% discount. That's right, add to it. And then my daughter Kiana in the blue, she's a social media influencer, and she does big sponsored deal with a lot of these major sponsors out there right now. So yeah, man, those are my beautiful children.
Now, I
Yeah,
went and
Rock.
researched today. Now that's Little Rocket. Now, if y'all look at that picture right there and look at this picture right here, he looks just. Let me get it up. Hold on, let me get it right.
Oh, okay.
Looks just like his mom. Just like his mom. Now he played football at Wyoming, and I watched some of his film today, man. I don't understand why come he never got a shot to go pro. What happened with that?
Man, the COVID, two things that happened. COVID, so he was on the free agent list. COVID and his pro day, the 2 days before his pro day at Wyoming, he tore his the tendon in his underneath his right big toe, and so he didn't tell anybody. He just took the pain. He ran like a 4.740, and I think people were expecting more, and all of the like ingredients together. They didn't have free agent camps. They was worried about all the stuff that kept him from getting on the NFL trail. But the blessing is he has so many other gifts. He just transitioned in that lane. And now, like I said, man, in another year, bro, y'all gonna be hearing about it. And I just want to say, I don't know when I thought that picture was only on my phone, that one where you showed me and Milani right there. Bruh, you are on some Inspector Gadget type thing. How you finding this stuff, man?
Rocket,
Oh my
listen, man.
God.
Listen, man. I've got to be my own producer. I got to be my own. I got to be my own editor. I got to write down all my own stuff, man. So listen, I got to know what I'm doing when I bring you guys on, man.
I'm impressed, bruh. This is thorough. And that picture of my son was from his junior year in high school at the homecoming pep rally. That's his junior year in high school homecoming pep rally.
Got you, man. Well, Rock, man, it's been fun, man. I certainly appreciate you, brother, for coming on and blessing me tonight. A lot of people, what's crazy, man, is people look at me as just Reggie Swinton because I'm a local guy, right? A lot of people don't know that I know guys of your stature. So they be like, "Oh, you know Rocket, or do you know Emmett?" I'm like, "Well, I played with him, and I didn't just play with him. I was also a contributor when I played. I wasn't just on the
Yes.
damn team."
Yes.
And
Oh
so,
no, let
yeah,
me tell you, man, let don't allow the environment to diminish the significance that you represent in the earth. Bruh, you are and the world of significance massive, and you got to keep shining your light. And even to the people that you meet, they're significant as well. It might not be in the capacity on a pro football level, amazing athlete level, Hall of Fame level, like you and everything of that nature. All that being said, they're still immensely significant, and they can't, watch this, be careful of the seeds that you plant because you'll eat the fruit one day. My grandmother told me that. And when the people are in your presence, if you see somebody that's shining or has some significance or what have you, man, give them props, man, because you want to plant that seed because you want to receive the same. You want to reap what you sow. You want to plant that seed of giving thanks, of saluting people, of honoring people, because you want that same in your life as well. So Reggie is a significant brother, and everybody he meets, they're significant as well.
Awesome, man. I got one last question for you. My man Eric asked this question earlier in the show. He wanted to know, do you still have your championship ring from 1988?
I have the replica. My ring got stolen sophomore year at summer school by one of they used to have people who come and clean out the dorms and all that stuff, and Rodney Culver and I got our rings stolen. So we had to, I remember we went to Missy Comboy, who was an assistant athletic director at the time, and told her our rings got stolen. And so we had to get replicas ordered. So I still have the replica, but the original, unfortunately, I don't.
You know, my rings got stolen when I was in Canada, man, in 99. My two championship rings from Murray State, 95 and 96. I put them in my locker, came back from practice. They both were gone, man. So, and I've never got my replica because I wasn't paying for it. So I'm too cheap to go pay for it. So I got the memories, but I don't have the rings. Rocket, man, it's been great, man. I certainly appreciate you, man, for blessing Wide Open tonight, man. I love you, brother. Always will, man. Thank you for everything you've done for me, man, in my career. You've been a positive role model in my life, man. And, you know, I call you and run things by you. And no matter how down I am, man, you find a way to pick me up, brother. So love you, man. Thank you, and I appreciate you very much.
Hey, brother, nothing but love for you, brother. And thank you for inviting me to your platform. And I'm looking forward to seeing the amazing things that come in the life and legacy of Reggie Swinton in this earth, because it's going to be fantastic.
All right, man. Good love to your wife and your family, man.
All right, brother. Please do the same. Grace and peace.
All right, later. That was the great Rocket Ismail, guys. Listen, I feel good, man. That's that guy. He's a great mentor. Y'all see how positive he is, man. And I just certainly love to talk to Rocket all the time. Great guy, great family, man, and that's my dude. So listen, so next week's show, love you, Charmaine. Thank you, baby. Next week's show, I will have on Coach Houston Nutt. So my lineup in the next few weeks is Coach Houston Nutt next Wednesday. After that, I got Bruh Man from the Fifth Flow, Martin. We're gonna talk about Martin, the 30th reunion, talk about how we met. Then after that, I got Roy Williams. Then I've got Jimmy Smith. I got Joe Torre coming up, Michael Irvin coming up, Fred Taylor coming up. So guys, each and every Wednesday night at 8:30, it's supposed to be an hour show, but when you have guys like Rocket, man, you cannot put a time limit on somebody with such greatness and the amount of wisdom he can bring to us. So guys, and also stay tuned. March the 16th, I'll be flying to Atlanta to shoot the show with Pierre. Y'all know Pierre from How to Be a Player and BAPS. He's invited me on his show called Panic Room. And so I'll be on his show on March 16th, which will probably air a couple days after that. And then, guys, you know, listen, I'm getting ready for the Hall of Fame. And I can tell y'all right now, I'm not going to act like I'm not excited. I'm not going to act like I'm not. Man, this is some of the best times of my life right now. I thank God for the many blessings he's given me right now. Thank you, baby. I thank God for the many blessings he's given me right now, guys, from where I came from to where I am now. I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't be here without my wife and my children. So, again, thank you all for tuning in to Wide Open. This is the third episode, and it's going to get better. So I'll be right back next Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. CST, Wide Open with Coach Houston Nutt. Until then,